My name is Liam. I'm 32 years old. By the time you hear this story, my wife will have lost her home, her career, and her absolute mind. And the most beautiful part of this entire disaster? She literally handed me the matches to burn her life to the ground. It all started with two simple words that destroy more marriages than anything else: open relationship. She wanted freedom. I gave her enough rope to hang her entire future. Chloe and I were married for 4 years. We had the picture perfect suburban life in Chicago. I worked as a financial analyst. She was a high-end event planner. From the outside, we were the couple everyone envied. Sunday morning coffee runs, adopting a golden retriever, hosting dinner parties. But behind closed doors, a silent poison was spreading. About 6 months ago, Chloe started acting distant. The passwords on her phone suddenly changed. She started taking calls in the bathroom with the shower running. You know the drill. Anyone with half a brain would know what was happening. But I loved her. I was blinded by the life we had built. Then came a Tuesday night in late October. She sat me down at our kitchen island, poured a glass of expensive red wine, and looked me dead in the eye. She did not confess to cheating. Oh no, she was much smarter than that. She gave me the "we need to talk" speech. She told me she felt trapped. She said she loved me, but she needed to explore her youth before it was gone. She asked for an open marriage. I felt like the floor had vanished beneath my feet. My chest tightened. I asked her if there was already someone else. She swore on her mother's life there was not. She said it was just a concept, a way for us to evolve. I was completely crushed. But out of sheer desperation to save my marriage, I said yes. I agreed to her rules. We would not bring anyone to our house. We would always use protection. And we would be honest about when we were seeing other people. That was my first mistake. Believing a liar would suddenly respect rules. Within 48 hours, Chloe was out the door. She was getting dressed up in outfits I had never seen, wearing perfume that cost more than our weekly grocery budget, and coming home at 3 in the morning. She was living her absolute best life, while I sat in the dark living room, staring at the television without seeing the screen. But I was not alone for long. If you have ever been manipulated by someone you trusted with your life, hit that subscribe button right now, because what happens next is for everyone who has ever wanted to fight back. Enter Mia. Mia was Chloe's best friend since college. She was a pediatric nurse, quiet, observant, and completely different from my wife's loud, center of attention personality. Mia always treated me with genuine kindness, but I had firmly kept her in the friend zone in my mind. One rainy Friday night, about 3 weeks into Chloe's new single lifestyle, there was a knock on my door. It was Mia. She was standing on the porch holding 2 boxes of my favorite takeout and a bottle of whiskey. She said she knew Chloe was out on a date and she did not want me to be alone. I let her in. We sat on the living room floor eating noodles and drinking. For the first time in almost a month, I actually laughed. Mia had this incredible way of making you feel heard. She saw me as a human being, not just a backup plan waiting at home. As the whiskey level dropped, the conversation got deeper. I admitted how much it hurt. I admitted I felt like a fool. Mia stopped smiling. She set her glass down, looked down at her hands, and took a deep breath. "Liam," she said, her voice shaking slightly. "You are a fool, but not for the reason you think." I frowned, asking her what she meant. Mia pulled out her phone. Her fingers hesitated over the screen before she finally unlocked it and pushed it across the coffee table toward me. "Chloe did not ask for an open marriage to explore," Mia whispered. "She asked for it to legalize what she was already doing, and to make you pay for it." I looked down at the glowing screen. It was a screenshot of a text conversation between Chloe and someone saved as Trainer Marcus. But it was not just romantic messages. It was a picture of a bank statement, my bank statement, our joint savings account, with a message from Chloe saying, "Do not worry, baby. I convinced the idiot to open the marriage. He suspects nothing. I am moving $10,000 to the new account tomorrow for our trip to Miami." My heart stopped. The sadness evaporated. Every ounce of love I had for my wife died in that exact second, and in its place, a cold, dark, terrifying clarity took over. I did not scream. I did not throw the phone. I looked up at Mia, and a slow, wicked smile spread across my face. Chloe wanted to play a game with my money and my life. She had no idea she just challenged a master. The hardest thing I have ever done in my 32 years of life was making breakfast for the woman who was trying to ruin me. It was a Saturday morning, less than 12 hours after Mia showed me the ultimate betrayal on that phone screen. Chloe walked through the front door at 9 in the morning, holding her expensive yoga mat, smelling faintly of men's cologne and sweat. She kissed me on the cheek and told me she had a wonderful spiritual awakening with her new meditation group. I handed her a plate of scrambled eggs, smiled warmly, and told her I was so incredibly happy she was finding herself. Inside my head, I was already burning her kingdom to the ground. I did not confront her. Confrontation is for amateurs. Confrontation gives the enemy time to prepare, time to hide assets, time to spin the narrative and play the victim. I wanted absolute, undeniable destruction. And for that, I needed to become a ghost in my own marriage. For the next 3 weeks, I played the role of the ultimate supportive husband. But while Chloe was out exploring her youth with trainer Marcus, I was exploring her financial history. Mia and I became a two-person intelligence agency. Whenever Chloe left her iPad unlocked, I took photos. Whenever the mail arrived, I intercepted the bank statements she thought she had hidden. What I found was so much worse than a simple affair. Chloe was not just cheating, she was siphoning our joint assets. Over the past 8 months, she had slowly transferred over $45,000 into an offshore account under her maiden name. She had secretly maxed out 2 credit cards in my name to pay for luxury hotels and expensive dinners. Her plan was not to stay in an open marriage. Her plan was to drain me dry, blindside me with divorce papers, and leave me holding all the debt while she ran off into the sunset with her heavily muscled parasite. I needed a professional. I did not hire a regular family attorney. I found a guy named David. David was a shark. He wore cheap suits, drank too much coffee, and destroyed people for a living. When I laid out the meticulously organized binders of financial records, text messages, and flight receipts on David's desk, he actually whistled. He told me that in the state of Illinois, marital funds spent on an affair are considered dissipation of assets. He told me the judge was going to nail her to the wall. But David gave me one strict instruction: let her keep spending. The deeper the hole she dug, the easier it would be to bury her. So I let her dig. But I decided to have a little fun while she did it. The beauty of an open marriage is that the rules apply to both people. Chloe created this game. I decided to play it better. I started dressing better. I bought new cologne. I started going to the gym every single evening. And most importantly, I started going out. I was not sleeping with anyone, but Chloe did not need to know that. Mia agreed to help me sell the illusion. We went out to upscale bars, laughed loudly, and I made sure Chloe's friends saw us. I came home at 2 in the morning, smelling like expensive women's perfume, humming a happy tune. The psychological meltdown that followed was pure cinematic gold. The woman who begged for an open marriage suddenly could not handle the reality of it. Chloe started interrogating me. She demanded to know who I was seeing. She threw a glass across the kitchen one night, screaming that I was disrespecting our home by parading another woman around town. I sat at the kitchen island, took a slow sip of my water, and looked at her with zero emotion. I repeated her exact words from a month ago. I told her I felt trapped. I told her I needed to explore my youth. I asked her why she was being so controlling when this was her brilliant idea to evolve our relationship. The look of absolute panic in her eyes was something I will cherish for the rest of my life. She realized she had lost her grip on me. She realized the safe, predictable husband she was planning to rob was gone. Panic makes people sloppy, and Chloe got very sloppy. To escape the stress of her own failing manipulation, she announced she was taking a 2-week solo wellness retreat to Miami. She told me she needed space to clear her head. I knew exactly what this was. This was the grand vacation with Marcus. This was the trip funded by the $10,000 she had just transferred out of our joint savings. I helped her pack. I carried her heavy designer suitcases to the Uber. I hugged her tight and told her to have the time of her life. I will, she smiled, completely oblivious to the fact that she was looking at me for the last time as my wife. The moment her plane wheels left the runway at O'Hare International Airport, I picked up my phone. I called David. I told him to file the papers. Then I drove straight to the bank. Because Chloe made one massive, catastrophic mistake. She thought she was the only one on that new account. She forgot that we had signed a blanket authorization form 3 years ago, linking all our financial institutions. While she was 30,000 feet in the air, dreaming of beaches and margaritas, I walked into the bank, smiled at the teller, and legally drained every single penny she had stolen. 4 hours later, my phone started vibrating on the kitchen counter. It was Chloe, and I knew exactly why she was calling. The phone vibrated against the marble counter. It was her. I let it ring 4 times before I finally pressed accept. Liam, Chloe's voice came through the speaker. She was not using her sweet, manipulative tone. She was panicking. Liam, my card was just declined at the hotel. I called the bank and they said the joint account is closed. What is going on? Fix this right now. I took a slow breath. I looked around our perfectly clean, perfectly quiet kitchen. I cannot fix it, Chloe, I said. My voice was completely flat. The account is not closed. It is empty. I moved the money. There was a 5-second silence on the other end of the line. I could hear the ocean breeze in the background. What do you mean you moved the money? She snapped. Move it back. I am standing in the lobby of a 5-star resort, and they are threatening to cancel my reservation. Stop playing games. I am not playing games, I replied softly. I am just exploring my financial youth. Isn't that what we agreed on? Evolving? Another silence. This one was heavier. She was starting to realize the trap had snapped shut. Liam, what are you talking about? Her voice was shaking now. I am talking about the $45,000 you secretly funneled into an offshore account over the last 8 months, I said, reading directly from the legal binder David had prepared. I am talking about the 2 credit cards you maxed out in my name. And I am talking about trainer Marcus, who is probably standing right next to you, wondering why his sugar mama suddenly cannot pay for his room service. I heard a sharp gasp. It was the sound of a woman watching her entire reality shatter into a million pieces. How? She whispered. Mia says hello, by the way, I interrupted. She thinks you should probably check your email. David, my attorney, just sent over the divorce papers. You have exactly $0 to your name. Have a wonderful spiritual awakening in Miami, Chloe. Do not bother coming back to the house. The locks were changed an hour ago. I hung up the phone. I did not block her number. I wanted to see the descent into madness. Chuangbei, Susup Jodai Chuyan. Over the next 48 hours, my phone blew up with exactly 112 text messages and 43 missed calls. They started with rage. She threatened to call the police. She threatened to ruin my reputation. Then, when she realized she had absolutely no leverage, the messages turned to begging. She apologized. She said Marcus meant nothing. She said she made a terrible mistake and she wanted to come home. I did not reply to a single one. Complete, absolute silence is the most devastating weapon you can use against a narcissist. Chloe had to beg her parents to buy her a basic economy ticket back to Chicago. When she finally arrived at our house, she found all of her belongings packed into cheap cardboard boxes, sitting neatly in the driveway. And waiting on the front porch was a process server, holding a thick stack of legal documents. The divorce was a bloodbath, but only for her. Because we lived in a state that heavily penalizes the dissipation of marital assets during an affair, the judge showed absolutely no mercy. All the financial evidence Mia and I had gathered was bulletproof. Chloe was ordered to assume 100% of the credit card debt she had secretly accumulated. She lost any claim to the equity in our house. And Marcus, the moment he realized she was broke and drowning in legal fees, he blocked her number and vanished. He was never in it for love. He was in it for the free vacations. Word travels fast in Chicago. The event planning industry is small and built on reputation. When Chloe's boss found out she had been using company time to orchestrate an elaborate financial fraud against her husband, she was quietly let go. No one wants to hire an event planner they cannot trust around money. She ended up moving into a tiny, one-bedroom apartment across town, working a miserable administrative job just to make the minimum payments on her massive debt. The open relationship she wanted so badly had given her all the freedom in the world, the freedom to be completely, utterly broke and alone. As for me, I sold the house. It held too many fake memories. Last weekend, I sat on the balcony of my new downtown apartment. The sun was setting, casting a golden light over the city. I was not alone. Mia walked out, carrying 2 glasses of whiskey. We clinked our glasses together, looking out at the skyline. We never rushed anything. After the divorce was finalized, we took our time. We built something real, based on actual honesty, not manipulation and secret passwords. Chloe wanted an open marriage because she thought I was weak. She thought I would just sit in the dark and wait for her to finish playing with other people. She opened the door. I just made sure she could never, ever walk back through it. If you love this story of pure, calculated justice, hit that like button and leave a comment down below. Let me know. What is the craziest excuse a cheater has ever given you? Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.